expected a John Fisher interview. Nobody can land with those interviews. Actually landed a sit down. 1-on-1.
The downfall is there. Oh, my God.
The downfall is there. It's coming hard.
Behind Vontae, the flag just fell. I mean, just...
I keep trying to bring it back up to it. Maybe it's emblematic of the Warriors' future. I just keep trying to put the flag back, and it keeps falling down.
So here's what I'd say. So let's look at this list. 25 under 25 when it comes to the NBA.
So does anybody want to take a guess of where Kuminga lands on this list? And by the way, this list was made in January, I believe. January 1st, New Year's Day. And Kuminga wasn't playing much.
I thought if he would be on the list, I thought he would be in the 20s.
He's not on this list.
Because with 3 draft classes, plus it would be the draft class prior to him, maybe even before him, twice. So I would say he's in the 20s.
I do wonder, though, if this list came out, say, last week instead of January 1st, that I think he would be on this list because I'm seeing some names
but at
here.
the bottom, right?
In the 20s. Okay. Because number 25 is Brandon Miller, the rookie out of Charlotte. He's solid. He had a good rookie year.
Again, like doing it on a team that did nothing.
He did, but he had a good year, and he was like number 1 option on the scouting report. LaMelo Ball didn't play as Sam Levitt puts up the banner behind me. Nas Reed, number 24. He is 24 years old.
Feels low.
Feels very low. Jalen Green, 23.
And I think he might even be higher on this list if we were going 2 months later.
Exactly, because he had a spectacular end to the season.
Agreed.
Keegan Murray, 22.
That feels low to me, too. I think Keegan Murray's way better than that.
Tyler Hero. Jaime Jaquez is ahead of Tyler Hero at number 20. Anthony Simons from Portland. I would bump him out.
He wouldn't even be in my top 25.
Jalen Williams, Santa Clara, 22. Santa Clara, Jalen.
Yeah.
Darius Garland, Cleveland, 23 years old. I like Garland. I don't know if I like him at 17, but I do like him on this list.
I like him on the list. I think it's high.
It's high, but I would have him in the top 25. Garland's a good player.
I would agree.
Jaren Jackson Jr., Grizzlies, number 16.
I have him higher than this.
Cade Cunningham, 15.
I have, as much as I love Cade, I don't think he's done what Jaren Jackson Jr.'s done.
All right, so then you got that. You have
Evan Mobley,
Franz Wagner, Victor Wembanyama at 12.
He'd be top 4 if this was now.
Yeah, now he would be top 4. Zion Williamson, 11. Şengün, 10.
See, I'd have Zion ahead of Şengün, but that's
I've had Wemby ahead of Şengün, too.
Oh, well, again, Wemby would be top 5.
Again, this list was January 1st.
Paolo Banchero,
number 9, and I would have him higher. And I love me some Paolo Banchero. Oh, my gosh. 39 last night lost, but he's smooth, man. You get him another player, they're going to be a problem down in Orlando. Scotty Barnes, number 8.
Yep.
LaMelo Ball, 7. Which I think is a little high for LaMelo. Considering how many games has he played? 56 games the last 2 years?
I just think he's grossly overrated.
Not good. But he has a new back tattoo. Saw that yesterday.
No, I'm sure that generated a ton of clicks.
Probably did. Chet Holmgren, number 6. Tyrese Maxey, 5. John Morant, 4. Tyrese Halliburton, 3. Anthony Edwards, 2. Luka Doncic, number 1.
So I think the top 3 we can agree on.
Yeah.
4, I would have Victor ahead of Ja.
However, there's no Jonathan Kuminga on this list. Now, if this got released last week, I think Kuminga's somewhere in the 20s. But it leads us to Jonathan Kuminga because a lot of rumors are coming out. When Nick Friedel joined Willard and Dibbs yesterday, they're talking about LeBron and KD, and we'll play the cut in a second that Nick Friedel thinks that there's a chance that the Warriors can land KD and LeBron. I disagree. I don't see it happening, but I'd love to see him try. Whatever happens. Either way, we're in a win-win position in terms of content. You want to talk about the businessman Bonte and the businessman Butcher? Business would be booming with KD and LeBron. There's no doubt about that. On the court, how many games do they win? Can they last? I don't know. I don't know if they're a title contender. It's dynamic. It's a lot of firepower there. Sign me up for that. But Jonathan Kuminga, where does he fit into the plans next season? Do you see him on, honestly, it's an honest question. Do you even see him on a team by training camp?
No, I don't. And it's not because they don't like him or I don't like him. I think it's because you're going to have to staple one of the most desirable assets on the team to something that's not as desirable to net you something back in a trade. I think this is a very simple case of supply and demand. if you're going to supply me with someone I don't want, then I'm going to demand that you give me somebody that I do want. And I feel like Kuminga is one of those pieces. I also think if you're projecting down the line regarding extensions, usually mid to late October is when you have to give out an extension to someone like Jonathan Kuminga in his situation. I don't know how good I feel about giving him $30 million moving forward. Given everything that's happened with JK, given this organization, given their finances, given what happened with Jordan Poole.
Love it. Just take it down, man. We got the Draymond Green jersey in the back of me. We got Draymond right there. If I scoot over here on YouTube, let me scoot over. We take that banner down. We got Money Green in the back. Money Green right there on YouTube.
Shut you talking to me.
Kuminga. Will he be on this roster come trading cap? Warrior fans, what would you do with Kuminga? Because if you want a big boy, you're going to have to pay to play. And Wiggins is already baked in because you got to move out that contract. Kuminga seems like the guy who's attractive. Now, a lot of people talk about, I got into a little Twitter spat with a couple people on this morning, 4:30 in the morning. I don't know why I woke up to these notifications. Because let's talk about Siakam. And, it takes two to tango. We always talk about this. We could view our players one way, but another team may not view our players the same.
Yes.
And so everybody's saying, you could have got Siakam. You didn't try to get Siakam. No, the Warriors did try to get Siakam. Masai Ujiri, president of basketball operations at Toronto, already has Scotty Barnes. He already has RJ Barrett. It would be redundant to them to bring in a Jonathan Kuminga. Now, a couple seasons ago, yes, interested in Kuminga, let me get him. This year, I'm good off him. And it's not that he's a bad player. I just have Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett in the way. So it takes two to tango with these deals. We can't just say, we could have got Piazza. You don't know that. These guys may not like our players. But with that said, what do you do with Kuminga? Is he a guy, as we look at this list, and we see Tyrese Maxey go off yesterday for Philadelphia. Obviously, Embiid almost had a quadruple-double. He had 9 turnovers yesterday. He did drop a triple-double, but he had the 9 turnovers. And he's struggling out there, there's no doubt, but he's giving everything that he has. But I'm looking at Tyrese Maxey, I'm like, damn. This guy may be able to carry a franchise one day. Wow, look at Anthony Edwards. He is the leader of that T-Wolves team, and he speaks like it. Luka Doncic, we don't need to say anything about him. Obviously, John Morant was missed with Memphis. They're a lottery team now. Where does Kuminga fall on that list? Do you project him to be one of these guys on this list? Like Paolo Banchero right now is that guy for the Orlando Magic. And he's carried it to a 5 seed in the East. Now, the East is a little watered down. But damn it, Paulo's giving you everything he has.
I just, seeing it on paper like this, I have a hard time seeing him crack the top 15 of all these guys. They're all either more accomplished, have a longer runway with the team that they're with, regarding playing time, have more ascension that they can garner individually. I just have a hard time seeing it. It doesn't mean that it can't happen. It's just where is that playing time going to come for the Warriors?
Yeah.
That's number one. And then number two, you see him taking the leap in terms of ball handling and passing that is needed to surpass some of these guys. Because a lot of these guys have athleticism and either are as or more explosive than, play better defense than, or are better, facilitators for their offense or shoot better. So I just have a hard time. Which brings me back to this, P. To me, the Phoenix Suns are the cautionary tale of what the Warriors
might be facing here.
Yeah. If you go all in on being old and you trade away all the future to be old for now, you might be staring at 5 straight years where you don't have your own garbage pick, which is going to be a top 5. Right now, Phoenix has none of their own picks until 2031.
Right.
That's when their pick comes back.
Yep.
All of the picks, even if they traded away the guys that are on their team now, you're trading it away to another team hoping they fall into the top 10. They're probably not, but you're hoping. All these Phoenix Suns draft picks could be top 5 picks over the next 5 years, and they don't have any of them.
They don't have nothing.
And that, to me, is a cautionary tale of the Warriors. I know we all want to...
Hey, the Clippers are facing that.
I know.
If Kawhi if he's not able to come back and play at the level that he once was at, and Westbrook is going to be gone soon, who knows what happens with Westbrook, who knows what happens with James Harden. Those picks going to OKC could be high picks for OKC, adding to their already loaded young core. So I get what you're saying here. You don't want to just give away picks for older players where your ceiling may be a second-round playoff berth. Maybe.
Everybody's like, well, you got to do it while you have Steph. And I believe me, I get it. Getting Steph the 5th is priority 1. But also priority 2 is you can't salvage 5 years after. Like, I was listening to Willard, right? And this was a couple weeks ago, and maybe I'm paraphrasing some of this here. And if I missed the context, Mark, I apologize.
Do not put words into his mouth.
But from what I gathered, in my perception, what he was saying was like, hey, I'm willing to trade whatever for the right now, knowing that I won't win a championship in the next 10 years. Dog, you might not win another championship ever. Like, I'm looking at my 49ers. They have been as successful as you could possibly be in the last 2 decades as without winning a title. And there's no guarantee you'll win a title. So, like, this thing that you're going to come back into contention no matter what, the Chicago Bulls have been waiting to go back into contention for 30 years. And I bet if you polled a bunch of Bulls fans, we'll trade the next 10 years for one more shot with Michael, you might not ever get there.
You may not. You may not.
There are no guarantees on either end of the spectrum.
Right. I'm looking at the teams that have won championships. You got the Lakers and Celtics with 17 each. You got the Warriors with 7, the Bulls with 6, the Spurs with 5, the Sixers with 3. They haven't won since '83. Crying out loud, the Sixers
and they've been
are in a big title drought.
Been pretty successful, although they had the whole tankathon in the middle.
Right. The Heat have won 3 championships since '06. They've been a successful franchise. The Knicks haven't won since 1973, folks. The Rockets haven't won since 1995. The Bucks finally won the title in 2021 and won since 1971. The Cavs have 1 title. The Hawks haven't won since 1958. The Wizards haven't won since 1978. The Thunder with the Seattle Sonics, when they were in Seattle, haven't won since 1979. The Mavericks have the 1 title in 2011. You get where I'm going here? It is tough to win.
But here's where I would say, I think the hard reality that Warrior fans are unwilling, and I will admit I'm unwilling to even say it out loud. This whole thing like, you got to go all in to win one more with Steph. I'm not sure Steph is good enough to carry the entire organization
by himself.
Even if you get a second person, I don't know.
Well, Mike Trudell, Spectrum Sports, was on with Willard and Dibbs yesterday, and he was asked by Willard or Dibbs, does LeBron still want to play with Stephen Curry?
A lot of these guys that know each other and they're going to be together in Team USA. It's not hard to picture like them talking about any number of scenarios, but it's always a lot easier said than done, right? And there are only so many stars they can play together in different spots. So, I never really took a lot into all of that reporting that came out a little bit ago about it. That it didn't seem like something that was super likely to me. But again, not something that I really investigated.
All right, Anthony, big smooth. Get to you in just a second. Brian Windhorst. Can Steph, KD, or LeBron carry teams anymore?
Steph played great. He's going to make the All-NBA team. Yeah. KD played great. By the way, most games KD's played since he tore his Achilles. Mm-hmm. Wow. LeBron played great. All 3 of those guys are going to be on the NBA on the All-NBA team. That means that they're one of the best 15 guys in the league. All 3 of their teams are gone. So what do we take from that? What does that teach us? It teaches us that they're not good enough anymore to carry their teams by themselves. Yep. That's now guys like Jokic. That's now guys like Doncic. That's now potentially guys like Ant Edwards.
So with that said, what do you do if you're the Golden State Warriors in this situation? What do you do? Go ahead, Spadoni.
I'm just saying, like, in fairness, you never win a title with just one guy.
No doubt.
You always need help there. So it's a little unfair to say, well, they can't carry that team by themselves. Well, Steph had Andrew Wiggins being their second best player when Wiggins was a dominant guy. LeBron had Kyrie. He had AD. Michael had Scotty. Yep. Like, it's never about one guy.
Duncan had Ginobili and Parker. Then later on, Kawhi, Jordan, like you said, Jordan had Pippen, Magic had Kareem,
Kobe and Shaq,
Bird had McHale,
Jason Terry, and every other Jason Kidd with Dirk.
Right.
Like, you need help.
But let's also acknowledge this:
Dwayne Wade, Shaq,
Anthony Edwards. Let me just give you the amount of money Anthony Edwards is going to make the next couple of years. Like, he's making 35 this year, 35 next year, 38, 40, 43, 46. Steph's already at 50.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, the percentage of cap and where he's at. So when you combine, all these bloated contracts, it does make it more difficult to win. They have a slight advantage. $12 million in the new salary cap era. It's a big difference.
It does help the Warriors.
It's a big difference. That's a mid-level play.